So guys, it's time for us to do another Scientology from a Scientologist perspective video. Stay tuned for the latest in Danny Masterson's rape allegation and what's going on now. Alright guys, so back with some more Scientology information for you guys to digest. Latest things going on are Danny Masterson and his whole rape allegations, the lawsuits, and all of the above named nonsense. So I have two articles on two different websites covering the latest information on Danny Masterson's rape accusers. Now, if you don't know who Danny Masterson is, one TV show should wrap that up for you, and that's the 70s show. He was on that 70s show for years upon years, and everybody knows him from that. So, Danny Masterson is a Scientologist and has been accused of raping 4 women. They've come out in different, various ways and accused him of raping them in graphic detail. And now, here is the new scoop on what's going on. So, from the Underground Bunker, this article is by Tony Ortega. He posted this on August the 14th. I'm just losing my mind a little bit here, guys. Just give me a second. So, this was posted on August the 14th, and this is rape accusers sue Danny Masterson, Church of Scientology, and its leader. And sorry, still sick, getting over it. But we're gonna get into this. But then also on the next day, on August the 15th, on HuffPost, this article was written by Yashar Al. We have 4 women sue after Danny Masterson, Church of Scientology, and its leader. So we're going to dive into both of these articles today and see what is going on. So we're going to start off with the Underground Bunker, because I always love how Tony Ortega attacks this stuff. And then we're going to go into the HuffPost and see what they have to say about it. So, he starts off with the second big lawsuit for a powerful legal team assembled to take the Church of Scientology has been filed following the Jane Doe lawsuit in June. Now, the Jane Doe lawsuit is the lawsuit that was filed by, I just lost my brain, was filed by Leah Remini's assistant when she left Scientology, that named the church and its leader, David Miscavige, as defendants. This time the church and David Miscavige are joined by Scientologist actor Danny Masterson, who are all being sued by 4 women who have accused that 70s show actor of violently raping them, and whose allegations have been the subject of the Los Angeles Police Department and Los Angeles District Attorney's investigation for more than 2 years. So that's how long this stuff has been going on. It's for longer than 2 years. So, you know, this is not something that's just brand new, and it's not like they can say that they didn't know that this was going on and they had no clue. This is something that's been going on for more than 2 years at this point. So, Los Angeles District Attorney Jackie Lacey has still not announced whether she's going to charge Masterson criminally, but that isn't stopping his accusers from filing a civil lawsuit against him and the church in the meantime. 4 women came forward to make allegations against Masterson, and the lawsuit plaintiffs include 2 of those accusers who have already identified themselves publicly, which is Chrissy Carnell Bixler and Bobette Brazil, as well as 2 who remained unidentified as Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2. Joining them as a plaintiff is Chrisley's rock singer husband, Cedric Baxter Zaville. The lawsuit alleges that the plaintiffs have been subjected to stalking, slander, libel, and conspiracy of harassment since the women came forward with the allegations 2 years ago. Am I surprised? No, that is Scientology's main point of attack. That's their way of getting you to shut the hell up. As in the case of the Jane Doe lawsuit, the new complaint was filed by a legal dream team of former criminal prosecutors, including the prosecutor who put Bill Cosby in prison, and the constitutional scholar, Marcy Hamilton. Also, we noticed that Leah Remini's sister, Nicole, announced on Facebook earlier today that Leah will be co-hosting the NBC Today show tomorrow and Friday. We suspect that Leah will bring up the lawsuit and also make an announcement about the A&E series, Scientology and Aftermath, which concluded its 3rd season in February. We go into some breakdown on that. But here is the Church of Scientology's policies that prevent members from reporting crimes. And it says, whether discovered during auditing or otherwise, defendants forbid members from contacting police to report a crime committed by a member. They claim the institutional defendants instruct their members and agents that reporting such instances to law enforcement is considered a high crime and subjects the member to punishment. One of the women, Chrisley Bixler, dated Masterson for several years and joined Scientology per his orders. She claims Masterson regularly forced her to have sex with him and became violent when she refused. She claims on one occasion, after refusing to have sex with Masterson, he dragged her naked across their bedroom floor while berating her appearance. He then threw her, still naked, into the hall and locked the bedroom door. Oh, that's just a peach right there. So, here's an update. Masterson released a statement through his attorney. I'm not going to fight my ex-girlfriend in the media like she's been baiting me to do for more than 2 years. I will beat her in court and look forward to it because the public will finally be able to learn the truth and see how I've been railroaded by this woman. And once her lawsuit is thrown out, I intend to sue her and others who jumped on the bandwagon for the damage they caused me and my family. It's pretty obvious he's refusing. It's pretty obvious he's refusing to referring to Chrissy Bixler, who dated Masterson for several years before she alleges he raped her while she was unconscious. He also dated Brazil, but the other 2 women are not his girlfriends. Also, the lawsuit is about the ensuing stalking and slandering the women and Cedric Bixler's husband claim that they have been subjected to since reporting to the police 2 years ago. So it's not just the rape allegations, it's also the ensuing harassment that they've had to face for the past 2 years after going to the police about the rape. You might remember the story we wrote last year about how Cedric and Chrissy's dog suddenly died after a vet found it had been kicked in the throat. For the last 2 years, the couple has experienced a bewildering series of attacks on their phone and home security, and other victims tell us the same, which is spelled out in the lawsuit. We're looking forward to see how that gets litigated by the special legal team. Another update: the Church of Scientology has put out a characteristically snarky response. From everything we have read in the press, this baseless lawsuit will go nowhere because the claims are ludicrous and a sham. It's a dishonest, hallucinatory publicity stunt. Leah Remini is taking advantage of these people as pawns in her money-making scam. But as Yashar Ali points out, these women and their allegations have nothing to do with Leah. Victim B first reported her allegations to the LAPD in 2004. In 2016, she and Chrissy Bixler first went to authorities before they spoke to Remini, who then did, yes, throw her support behind them. But the allegations in this lawsuit have nothing to do with the aftermath star. So, previous coverage, he lists off previous coverage on the Danny Masterson thing dating back to 2017. And if you're interested in it, you can look for this video that is going to be linked in the description box. So he does refer over to the Yashar Ali HuffPost article, which I'm going to cover now. So it says the lawsuit filed in Los Angeles accuses the actor and organization of stalking, intimidation, and conspiracy stemming from rape allegations against the actor. And so it goes into the basics that 4 women have accused him of raping them. They are suing him, the church, and David Miscavige. Okay, so the suit accuses Scientology, which has long been accused of illegal and unethical conduct, and Masterson of engaging in stalking, physical evasion of privacy, and the conspiracy to obstruct justice, among other allegations detailed in the complaint that HuffPost obtained from a source who provided a copy of the condition that they not be identified. So this is what Masterson's attorney said. This is beyond ridiculous. I'm not going to find we heard what he had to say. For nearly 3 years, the Los Angeles Police Department and the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office have investigated multiple allegations of rape against Masterson. 4 women, 3 are former Scientologists, and 2 used to date Masterson, have accused him of drugging them and violently raping them in the early 2000s. HuffPost has spoken to the women multiple times for several stories over the past 3 years. Only 2 of the women, Masterson's ex-girlfriends, Chrisley Carnell Bixler and Marie Babette Razel, have been identified in the complaint. The other 2, both of whom, like Carnell Bixler, were former Scientologists, are identified as Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2. HuffPost is aware of the identities of the 2 women, but has chosen not to name them as they are alleged rape victims who have asked to remain anonymous. So they are very scared of this. They are requesting to remain anonymous. And 3 of these 4 women are former Scientologists. Carnell Bixler's husband, Cedric Bixler Zavala, is also suing Masterson and Scientology, saying that he has been targeted for harassment. A litigation counsel for Church of Scientology gave the whole baseless lawsuit thing. Remini, an actress and television host, has angered the organization in recent years with candid memoir about her time in Scientology and an investigative docuseries on A&E that outlines the church's history of abuse and retaliation against current and former members. Though Rimini knows and has spoken to the women accusing Masterson of rape, including in an interview that has not yet aired, the women told law enforcement, church officials, and church members about the alleged rapes before they met Rimini and before they left the Church of Scientology. So this is not new information to the Church of Scientology. This is not just out of nowhere. This is stuff that they knew about before these women ever left. Am I surprised? No. The investigation of those rape reports, the four women say, has dragged on with no result so far. In the last 3 years, Los Angeles County District Attorney Jackie Lacey has faced criticism for not completing the investigation, despite what critics of hers have referred to as overwhelming evidence. The consequences Masterson has faced as a result of the investigation and the public scrutiny have largely centered on his career. After HuffPost revealed insensitive remarks made by a top Netflix executive to one of Masterson's alleged victims, the streaming service fired Masterson from a show on which he co-starred, The Ranch. The executive, Andy Yetman, was also fired by Netflix. Masterson was later dropped by his longtime agent at UTA. The Church of Scientology, which obtained tax-exempt status under shadowy circumstances, has documented history of intimidating its critics and the people and institutions it perceives to be enemies. The four women and their families are now considered enemies of Scientology, which has waged an all-out war against them. According to the lawsuit and interviews with the women and their family members over the last 3 years, the Church of Scientology has been the focus of law enforcement and civil litigation since its founding. As a result, it reacts harshly when current and former members cooperate with law enforcement in investigations against current members or sue current members of the organization, which is a long documented process. They will attack at full force anybody that tries to come out against them. They will attack full force if you try to sue them. They try to discredit you at every turn just to make you look bad, because they don't want anybody snooping around, because they know what they do is illegal, and they know if too much light is shined, they can kiss that tax-exempt status goodbye. Goes on to saying, Church of Scientology has a specific policy with respect to cooperating with law enforcement and engaging in civil litigation, and all church policies, it is to be followed strictly by members with no room for interpretation. Members who cooperate with law enforcement or engage in civil litigation against a current member risk being kicked out of the church and being declared suppressive persons, which means they will be, per Scientology policy, cut off from the life they have known. Scientology demands that current members not communicate with former members who have been declared suppressive persons. This means that members also must cut off contact with family members. A whole disconnection circle. It's the policy, the four women say, that has prevented them from seeking justice. In the lawsuit and in previous interviews with HuffPost, they said this policy prevented them from reporting their alleged rapes to law enforcement, with the exception of one of the unnamed women. The other three women did not tell law enforcement that they had been that they were raped until 2016. It's also the policy, the women say, that has prevented current Scientologists from aiding investigators. And that is the end of the article. And right there is the whole entire problem in one sentence, is these complete and unabashed issues with these policies. These policies that aim to keep people quiet. This whole secret society, this whole hush-hush, this whole do not talk to the authorities, do not cooperate with authorities, do not speak to the authorities, do not question. This is the problem. And this right here is one of the issues that I can see being an even bigger problem in Scientology than we know about. Also, issues with child molestation. I mean, Leah's show has brought forth some of those problems and brought light to them, but I guarantee you there's more out there that we don't know and probably will never know. And that's the problem. When you put so many restrictions on people and you make it to where they're bred not to talk. They're brainwashed so hard not to talk for fear that they will lose their friends, they will lose their family, they will lose the life they've always known. This is what happens. This right here is what happens. Bad things happen to people, and they're too afraid to talk. They keep their mouths shut, and they endure these terrible things happening to them so that they can keep the life that they know. No matter how bad that life is, that's the only life that they know. And when it happens to children, that's all they're ever going to know. This happened to grown women, and they kept their mouths shut for years because they didn't want to lose their life. That is a sad state of affairs. So I'm going to end this Scientology from a Scientologist perspective video here. I do have some other court cases and some other interesting things about Scientology to share with you guys here in just a few. Some David Miscavige updates, and also we're going to revisit the Garcia appeal case and give y'all an update on that one. But I have been trying to get these Scientology from a Scientologist perspective videos caught up. I have so many articles. It is unreal. Like, I will just keep cranking these videos out, guys. Anyway, give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't, ring that bell so that you are notified every single time I upload a video. In the comment section down below, what do you think about this Danny Masterson situation? What do you think about these women taking this situation into their own hands and suing him, the church, and David Miscavige? Especially after finding out that they are former Scientologists and that the church knew about these rape allegations. Also, in the description box, you'll find my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and email. If you have any Scientology articles that you want me to talk about on this channel, send it to me on one of those platforms, and if I make a video about it, I will shout you out in that video. That's going to do it for me today, guys. I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.